Welcome back, Sinner. It's been a hot minute, and I must confess, It's been a weird week. Not a bad week. Not a great week so far, but not a bad week, though. So I can hardly complain, honestly. It's been a trip, you know? Of course, I'm coming down from the joys of having a cold. Hopefully I sound more myself again, nice and silky and smooth once more. Most importantly of all, I'm hopeful that I sound better. I feel better, for the most part. Now then, this week I must confess I've spent a lot of it on my own, which isn't great, but I've made do where I can. I've not done a whole lot special this week, I must admit. The working week is what it is, and I've not felt particularly jazzed to do anything much. Though I have been messing around with Dawn of War a little bit. I managed to get the mods working. Turns out I was a fool. You see, I didn't realise I still had Soulstorm installed somewhere. Once I got rid of that, then it was sorted. For those who don't know, Dawn of War had a remaster which is compatible with the mods. The problem is that mods are still looking for the old installation. So you have to go through your files and remove everything about Soulstorm. Once you do that, you're golden. That you've got to name a folder manually for the mod. Important detail. They don't always mention that. In fact, Relic don't mention that weirdly. They really should. Really should. But I've been messing around with the Ultimate Apocalypse mod, because I love that mod. It's so good. I need to try some of the other ones, because there weren't as many when I was playing it back in the day, so I need to play around with some of, hey, Unification mod's very good, for example. I wish I could have gotten one of the mods for Dawn of War 2 working nicely. There were some really cool ones, like the Grey Knights and stuff. At least the Grey Knights can look cool in something. Their miniatures sure as hell don't. Especially that fucking Dread Knight. I'm sorry, Grey Knight fans. You have it hard enough as it is. Honestly, you'll get your day, I hope. I hope you do, honestly. Because you deserve it. Crow looks amazing. His purifiers should look equally so. I love the purifiers, they're cool as shit. But, other than that, what have I been up to? Like I say, not a whole lot, but I've mostly just been doing my thing, dealing with the joys of a day job, you know how it is, and having a little think on what to do. Now, obviously, I've decided, and as I say, this will be the week before by the time you see this, I decided to have the Sunday off, and I'll explain why. I've found sometimes that I just need that day where I can just relax, where I don't have to think about anything. I can do stuff, and I probably will be doing stuff, but I don't have to. There's no panic about doing stuff. It gives me a day where I can just relax. It's important. I think it's an important thing for me. Don't worry, it's not going to become a consistent thing. I just think every now and then I'm going to have a Sunday. But don't worry, we'll probably get back to, maybe the following week we'll get back to normal Sundays. Or I guess this week coming for you will probably be Dark Heresy, so that'll be just fine. And then the Sunday after, we'll get back to normality. I promise. I just, like I say, I need a little bit of just, zen. Zen and rest. Now, I must confess, I have been fighting the temptation to dabble and gain some more minis. But, like I said last week, I think it was last week I said this, I'm holding off until I get a new carry case. So I haven't bought a new carry case yet, because the minute I do, I know I'll get tempted to buy more. But I feel pretty good about the fact that I have been building and painting everything I buy. Everything I buy has been built and painted so far, so there's no new things to pile of shame, which is good. Only spare bits. That's fine. Spare bits are good. I like spares. You never know, you might need a spare bit for something. Now, obviously, these aren't Space Marine bits, so probably not as applicable. However, hell, they look pretty good. If I need to like put a random broken axe somewhere, one of the axes on the sprue was broke, so hey, I have a spare broken axe I can put in. I just trim off the hands, Maybe I keep the hands on, maybe some more grisly kind of fate, you know? Especially on a Night Lord's base or something, you know? Or an Iron Warrior's base. Maybe. Would fit, to be honest. But I keep seeing various things for Heresy. I do. I keep seeing all kinds of interesting things. And I think to myself, oh, I could. I would love to. But I shouldn't. I must admit, Heresy has been where my eye has been drawn recently. And it's been pretty firmly there. I think it's the aesthetic, honestly. I just really prefer a lot of the aesthetics back then. That doesn't mean to say 40k doesn't have an aesthetic. Oh boy, it has an aesthetic. But 30k just has an aesthetic I quite like. And honestly, it's been drawing me in. That grittier, grimier, more militarized style, that all of the sort of paintwork the community do are very, you know, there's more like a dust on them, there's more like grime on them, it's just, something about it, less, I don't say cartoony, because that wouldn't be accurate to 40k. 40k is not cartoony, as much as Games Workshop tries to make it that way sometimes. I just think the Heresy just looks like it takes itself a little more seriously, and is less goofy. I actually kind of prefer that. Like, I'm not saying you can't have fun with this sort of stuff, and you should have fun with it. Absolutely, have all the fun in the world. Seriously, have all the fun in the world. But I just think 30k feels like that's the setting where they dialed the silly back a bit. And they go, here's the grim reality of the setting. And I kind of like it for that. It brings me in. You know. Sure, there's some crazy stuff. But it's also not too much. Like, the craziest units you'll see, as far as luck-wise, is the Gelvorbach and the Maragel Tainted Dreadnought. You know, possessed, basically. The Word Bearers exclusively have. And that's it. Late Heresy, Sons of Horus have a bit of that too. But again, Late Heresy is borderline, like, Chaos Light. Just one step off being just the Chaos Space Marines they are 10,000 years later. But, you know, they're about similar position. But there's something about it, you know, something about that. Like, it's still recognizably that Legion, even if they have devolved. You know. The Emperor's Children are still the Emperor's Children, even if they've dabbled into body horror and all kinds of modifications, or the Plague Marines of the Death Guard. Or, you know, the Word Bearers losing themselves to nails. They kind of still hold it together, sort of, until after the Heresy. I believe the Thousand Sons turn up as well, though they haven't become rubrics yet. But they are completely unfettered in their wielding of their warp powers. All that good stuff, you know, and just, you know, and like I say, it's not even just the whole thing, the Primarchs, and just the Imperium as a whole back then seems interesting. Lots of cool stuff. The Mechanicum are, in my opinion, so much more interesting back then. I mean, we have really powerful weapons of war being thrown around by them. We have these really elaborate and fucking dark cyborgs. Be it the Thralls or be it the fucking Phalanx. Just a brain and a nervous system and some vital organs in a in basically a Space Marine suit built to be a cyborg. As a fan of Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath, the Marks of Cain in particular, I love that aesthetic. I love it. If you know, you know. They look cool. I absolutely adore them. So, all that stuff together, beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. And I believe there's even a unit coming for the Word Bearers that's like possessed, like basically just demonically possessed Saturnine Terminator armor, which sounds awesome. It made me very tempted to grab some and do it in that style, you know, make it all like the metal being on fire, basically. There's a lot of temptations, honestly. Saying this is a lot of temptation for me. But I have resisted, I have done my best. That will eventually break one day. But they've also got these new little starter boxes, and I do kind of want at least one for my Solar Auxilia. That would give me the tank, the command squad, the 10 of the troops I need, or 20 of the troops I need, should I say. and a few Hermes, which is good because I want those two. My list, my 3,000 point list. Honestly, the tanks dominate a lot of that, but I do need a tank commander. Though, I got another. I've got some spare bits lying around. I could always spruce up the guy on top of the tank. Point is, I've got options. I'll have a few vehicles anyway, considering every single Velataris squad will have its own transport. Heavy transports. Big gun attached to it. What can I say? I like my transports preceded by short-range artillery fire, supported by long-range artillery fire, with lots of tanks and heavy infantry. As heavy as a human can be anyway. Although, like I said, I had temptations. If they ever do if they ever do plastic custodies. Oh, it's plastic sisters would be nice too. Sister Silence, please. They're cool. Because some custodies. Oh, I would do a mean Shadow Keeper's force of them. Especially those Aquilon Terminates. Oh, and the Dreadnoughts. Sorry, I realise this episode is going to be mostly me ranting about my stuff for 30k, but that's mostly what I've been looking at. Other than that, of course, I have been dabbling around with what I intend to do with bits and bobs for the channel, you know? Throw some ideas together, and I've done little bits here and there. Nothing to report on yet, though. That stuff's a bit too early on for this. Of course, I am eagerly awaiting word on the start of work for the 3.0. It's soon, I'm just being impatient and really excited and looking forward to it. I might see if I can't fit some more things, though I'm also trying not to spend too much more money this month. I'm not broke, I'm just conscious that a lot's been spent, and I'd like to recoup first before I spend more. Besides, there's no need to rush. I ain't going anywhere, you're not going anywhere, so, the way I see it, we have plenty of time, Sinner. And besides, the only other thing I'd probably want is a badge for my subscribers and a set of emotes featuring the Bean and Numi. So, I might go to my usual people, I might go to someone different, I don't know yet. I don't know. We will see. See how I feel on that one. But, as I say, it's been a fairly quiet week for me. It has. Lonely in some respects, but, you know, played a little bit of Vintage Story. Honestly, I recommend it if you like Minecraft, but don't like the association of Minecraft, or just find that you want to play a game vanilla, or even modded a little bit, that just has a bit more to offer. Because I do find, after playing it, Minecraft it's fine, it's a perfectly good game, but Vintage Story just has that extra bit that I really appreciate now. That extra kind of steps, you know, you don't just make a sword, you either cast it from molten metal or you forge it, you know. Making certain metals is a whole other thing. Making alloys is a whole thing as well, you know. And getting iron and steel later, it's just, it's a whole load of steps, and it's just really interesting. It might sound kind of boring, but trust me, there's something quite satisfying about hammering an ingot into something and using it. With a few mods too, you can have firearms, which are very realistically accurate for flintlock and matchlock kind of stuff, and different weapons. In my current game I'm in with some friends, I have a great sword. I'm playing a Blackguard, which is a melee kind of class. They have classes as well. You can be a commoner, but they have classes. The Blackguards are being good in fighting. They eat a bit more and aren't very good at mining and some other little bits, but they make up for it with obscene damage. Basically being the fighter. So, like I said, a lot to work with, and honestly, it's quite enjoyable. I may even do a bit more today, who knows. But, Senna, that's pretty much been my week. I admit, it's not the most exciting one, but sometimes these are quiet weeks, right? lets you get ready and prepare for the big ones. So, we're going to have a nice time in Total War. Well, we'll have a nice time on Dawn of War, excuse me. And after my relaxation on Sunday, I will be reinvigorated for the new week. So by the time you're watching this, I will have probably done some stuff for the next video and be ready for whatever on earth I plan for this week. But that all being said, I have been Baron Zuckerbrell, your Cyber Angel VTuber. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, maybe even a subscribe if you're so daring. You can dislike if you like. I won't be too upset. But do leave a comment either way. Let me know what you like and what you don't like. But until next time, ta-ta for now.